But how do we finance it at a time when oil prices are clearly going to remain below 40 for quite a while? And because we're elected on the platform of change, many people in Kaduna expect the change to happen overnight. I constantly appeal to them to be patient. It will take time. Roads take time to build. Schools take time to get fixed. Teachers take time to be trained to be better. So in the interim, we have to be dealing with the legacy of that other party that thankfully is dying every day. But we need time. We are working on this. Most of our commissioners don't sleep. Most of us don't sleep. But we intend to get this done. The fiscal policy is helping because we are cutting costs, we are reducing waste, and we are trying to live within our means. Our hope in Kaduna State is to have a government that will be entirely financed from IGR, from internally generated revenue. So we are going to continue to slim the size of our government. We are going to be merging more and more ministries and parastatals as we see duplications. And we are coming to the State House of Assembly to repeal laws that proliferated agencies that we think are doing similar functions and try to merge them into one agency just to reduce costs. We know we'll have surplus staff. We intend to deploy those surplus staff to other functions, either to teach, because we have shortage of good teachers, or to the local governments where the quality of staffing is not as good. And with the amount of responsibilities we are devolving to local governments, they need better quality civil servants than they have now. So our objective in slimming government is not to retrench as such. No, we will restructure, we'll have surpluses, but we intend to deploy these surpluses to other more productive areas in the local governments as well as in the parastatals. We adopted Treasury single account and collected all our monies in one. We had 25 billion. Thereafter, we discovered a bank that somehow hid away 1.5 billion from us. We recovered it with interest and punished them for doing that. But we have normalized relations now, so I won't mention the name of the bank. But Treasury single account has helped us not only reduce our borrowing needs, but we now earn hundreds of millions every month from interest on funds that we don't need. And the Commissioner of Finance chairs a committee every month that determines our liquidity needs for the next month and takes it out of the TSA, and there is spent. But everything else remains in the Treasury single account. And this has been working, and we hope to continue with this now that it is legislated. It is now compulsory for us to have Treasury single account, not just an administrative creation, thanks to the State House of Assembly. The 2016 budget is smaller than the 2015 budget. In 2015, the state government budgeted over 200 billion. Our 2016 budget is just 170 billion. Our hope is that we'll even come back to the State House of Assembly if our revenues improve to now do a supplementary budget or amend the 2016 budget slightly if our revenues fail to match our expectations. This is the size of the envelope, 172 billion, compared to 201 billion for 2016. Our hope is that in the next 5 years, our public sector expenditure will be about 638 billion. This is both capital and recurrent. And the next slide shows our expectations for PPPs, because we can't do this alone. We can catalyze, we can invest in the social sector, but most of the economic investments will come from the private sector. With this, all the projects in this slide are already being discussed. Some have been concluded, some are being signed tomorrow, some have already gone through groundbreaking and are going on. For instance, in housing, we're expecting over 100 billion in investments. We have a huge housing shortage in Kaduna. We hope to build 20,000 houses over the next 5 years in Kaduna. Most of it will not be built by the government, but by the private sector. And already, I think about 4,000 are already under construction, so we think we can meet the target. We expect 100 billion to flow into this. 50 billion for the rail mass transit, out of which 10 billion will come from the state government. We are also doing enterprise zones. This is a sexy name for trailer parks. As you know, if you're driving from Kaduna to Abuja, you will see the big bottleneck we have in Tafa, where we have lost lives due to trailers parking on the road. But we see an economic opportunity there for trailer parks that will pay to park off the road. No trailer will be allowed to park on the road. They will pay to park. We will build hotels, markets, shops, and create a new community in Tafa that will drive economic investment. This is what we call enterprise zones. We don't want to call them trailer parks. We want to give them a nice name, and we expect 50 billion naira of investment will go there. We are doing 4 of this. Tafa on the Kaduna-Abuja road, Mararaban Jos on the Zaria Jos road. There is another one on the road to Kachia after the refinery. We are doing another one there, and another on the old Lagos road on the way to the airport. And these are all going to be partly private sector funded. We will do the trailer park itself, do the asphalt and the concrete to build the park, because that is public sector. But the hotels, the shops, the restaurants will all be private sector investment, and we expect 30 billion from there. We expect 40 billion in investments in the manufacturing sector. This will come from principally 3 areas. The first is the revival of the textiles in Kaduna. We are working with the state governments, about 5 state governments and the federal government, to revive the cotton textile garment value chain. We've gone to the Islamic Development Bank to help us come with new long fiber cotton seeds that will be used in our states that produce cotton to be the basis to revive this industry. And this is why we're investing in electricity for Kakuri industrial area, because one of the things that killed the textiles was epileptic electricity. Now we are going to have reliable electricity. We have undertaken to the textiles companies to give them water that they use for their textile operations free, because our object is that they compete with the Chinese and so on and so forth. The second is the revival of other industries that have become moribund, like the automobile industry. Pujo Automobile Nigeria used to manufacture up to 90,000 vehicles a year. Now they do less than 4,000. We want to acquire Pujo from AMCON. We have gone into a consortium with many northern states, Bank of Industry, Dangote Industries as well, to acquire majority shares in Pujo. I just returned from France to conclude meetings at the highest level with Pujo Automobile, and they are interested. They are coming back. They are going to do CKD. They will be assembling not just cars in Kaduna, but they are looking at buses, even trucks here in Kaduna to serve our market. Of course, we have to look at smuggling. We have to look at the automotive policy to make it more attractive, but we are working with that. And I'm happy to say virtually every northern state that we've approached to join us in this consortium has agreed to join, and by God's grace, we'll be successful in acquiring Pujo.